There we go. Just so that I have it if I need to refer back to anything. So you're going to China and Vietnam?
China and Vietnam next Sunday, yes.
Now,
No,
I've
yeah,
never,
on the third, first week of December.
nice. I've been to China a bunch of times. I've never gotten to Vietnam. I'd love to go there and do some work.
Well, Vietnam is really, really amazing the last couple of years. They made a huge progress. It's
Yeah,
there, young people, businesses there, um, politics, the situation is pretty stable. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
lot of fun. Vietnam is a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to Shanghai first because I was there more than 10 years ago. And I think we all cannot imagine what's happening over there, and especially the progress they made the last couple of years. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I know like the biggest company in China has opened up in Vietnam just because labor is so much less money in Vietnam.
You know whom we are talking about, Ningbo, right?
Yeah,
Ningbo Jinzhou, where Mark Chevy
right.
was many years, and also Brookie.
Mm.
Yeah,
Ningbo, I guess, is still the biggest around.
I think it's the biggest in the world.
Yeah,
Crazy,
so do
incredible.
I, from what it
I,
sounds like.
have you visited them?
I've never, when I've been to China, each time I've been to China, I wasn't able to get over to see them, which was really disappointing. I would love to see what the shop is like. And of course, they say the one in Vietnam, I think, is supposed to be bigger than the print shop in China, but I'm not sure.
Not yet, not yet, not yet. I can't be.
Ah,
Honestly, it can't be. That's a ridiculous place. So, Charlie, tell me, what are we doing today?
what are we doing? We're just chatting. We're going to see who comes on and who has questions or whatever, but we're not even officially on yet. Or no, we're not. Still have about 7 minutes to go. Um, question for you. Who do you have as a distributor down in El Salvador?
Well, there is a company in Guatemala. It's called Desiree.
Okay. And so
Do you
they're
know them?
handling all of Central America?
Well, actually, what I'm doing right now, I'm restructuring the entire international sales. And I'm having with every single one of our dealers a sales and marketing online meeting until Christmas. So with every single one. So
Okay.
we're gonna start tomorrow actually with Guatemala and with Peru. We continue with Mexico with Casadias on the day after tomorrow, and I'm working my way through.
Okay.
For me, the Desiree company, they didn't do shit the last year, a couple of, of years.
Who didn't? Which
Yeah,
company?
yeah. This company in Guatemala.
Ah,
I want to know who they are. I want to know what they can achieve. But basically, in Latin and South America, I'm pretty open. I mean, Brazil is definitely close. We have an incredible good dealer with Elton Mas, who is there. He actually took over from Klaus Bürgin from Technoscreen, and they're responsible for all the MHM machines who are in Brazil until today. So they are great. The rest is more or less wide open.
okay.
I'm
So
not even I'm not even sure if we're gonna continue with Casadias, quite frankly. So don't use this tape which you're recording now.
not to worry. I don't think they listen to my recordings anyway. They obviously they haven't sold a whole lot of machines.
Yeah, but and there are rumors also that they're going out of the industry or not. So that's why I want to talk to them face to face, and I want to know what's going on. Yeah, and again, I will definitely change the way MHM is appearing the last 10, 15 years
All right.
internationally.
So I guess my question is, where do I fit in on the whole package?
Well, we talked about it, and that's what we wanted to talk today. I have your proposal here actually with me. We talked about it, and as I told you, we will work with you next year. First of all, we need to sort out where we gonna be next year. So I have a list of about 20 different trade shows who will come up next year. I can tell you the 3 we have committed so far, which is ISS Long Beach with SPSI.
Right.
Of course, the biggest impact for MHM will be ITMA in FESPA in Amsterdam. So we have
I don't know. I mean, for you, FESPA in Amsterdam might be big. So far, FESPA isn't doing a whole lot with screen print.
Well, it will be. We will come up at FESPA, and just because at FESPA, it's the right timing for us. We will come up with 3 to 4 new products. We're gonna introduce at FESPA.
Okay.
And then we have to see, and we also committed actually on the Printing United in Las Vegas next year.
Well, that's going to be a great show. Las Vegas always draws an amazing crowd.
Exactly.
And a wonderful international crowd. So that's always a good one.
In between, I talked to Tom about how we can use you. There are many opportunities right now, but as long as we don't know what we are doing in let's say in the US, are we doing Fort Worth with the machine? Are we doing Atlantic City? But this we will have this meeting face to face at ISS in Long Beach.
Okay.
And that's why, and even for you, not only for this one, I talked to people, also to the German company yesterday, for about a consultant. And that's things I can probably, hopefully I can get you between 2 and 5 visits to Europe for consulting work on those companies. I mean, the company
wonderful.
I visited yesterday is close to Frankfurt, which is amazing to get there. It's about 20 minutes away from the Frankfurt airport. They're running 5 S-types, a 5000, an oval, and they're testing actually our digital version on the oval since many months. That's why I went there yesterday. This is a company, really organized, I would say a typical German company, you know. Everything is clean, everything is organized, and they are thinking about how to optimize their production with barcodes, with so on and so on. So they are about 2, 3, 4 steps ahead anyone. They have another company in Poland where they do the digital thing. They have about, I think they just bought 5 Atlas Max from Kornit. They have 3 Aeons, Kaios. So it's a huge company. And I talked to them about, you know, someone like you, and they said they are more than open. So we can probably pull this up the first quarter in 2024 for you coming to Germany. And then again, I'm not sure if FESPA would be the right location to get people to Austria first or after, because it's too far away.
Yeah.
But when you remember the meeting, or actually, I think it was 2005 at MHM, when we had this huge dealer meeting before the FESPA in Munich, something like this, we will come up for sure. And I have you as the consultant, of course, top of the list.
That would be great. Okay, well, we're off and running. Now all we're doing is waiting for people to show up. And you know what? They may and they may not. We never know. It's an open session. I'm really looking forward to, so I spoke to Eric at Action Engineering about supplying me with all the different squeegees that I want. He said not a problem. He'll have those, which is really good. Let's see, we have somebody wanting in. I also spoke to Aviant, which is the owner of Rutland, Union, etc. So I have all the special effects coming. I already told Tom which mesh counts I need. I'm going to be sending him the artwork today. It's what we want to do is 3 different designs during that workshop. I want to show, and I want to make sure that Tom tests it out, that we can put the design on. It's in perfect register. We're going to print off a bunch of shirts, pull that off, put on the next design exactly the same way. So I think I have a 2-color, a 3 or 4 color, and a 5-color design.
Good. So on
So
this on the mesh, you're using the Sherlock system, right?
no, Tom is using rigid frames.
Oh,
I wanted
okay.
to use,
No
I
roller
wanted,
frames.
yeah, I wanted, huh?
No roller frames.
No, I wanted to use the Sherlock frames, but Tom doesn't have a way of getting them all stretched, etc. So for my manuals, I have Sherlock. For the automatic, we're going to have rigid. But what I want to do is set it up so that at the next time we do a job or next show, that we do have Sherlock screens.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the way to go. You know, I think that right now that's probably the best screen on the market because people actually do use it as opposed to roller frames where I've got a company in Denver that's trying to sell off 300 of them.
Well, I don't get it still, Charlie, but I personally don't get it. Yeah, that's the American way of doing something.
You know,
You know what
you
they
know,
are.
I mean, the roller frames are fantastic, but nobody wants to do the maintenance on them. Where with the Sherlock screen, it's a one-shot deal and you're finished. And so that's why people have moved over to it. The rigid frame, honestly, getting really good ones is very difficult. But you know, when they're brand new, it's not a big deal. When they get a little bit older, it is a big deal. You know, no matter how good a registration system you have, when your screens aren't able to hold, then the registration system falls apart.
There you go. I just see Eva Maria Zettel with us here, and Eva actually is the new marketing manager of MHM, Charlie. Just for your information.
Okay.
So I'm glad to have her because I'm working. I know Eva since my very early days, and she is very well known. She knows technically things, and actually Eva joined me with Eon for the last couple of years. And now she moved with me to MHM, and she is putting the marketing, and especially the website and everything on brochures and social media for sure until the next page. And you know that MHM always had a deficit on it. Let's take it like this. The most the most unknown company in the world, I always called it.
At the moment, yes. I would certainly, let me get rid of this. I would certainly agree with you. At the moment, you are definitely the unknown company.
Yeah, and we keep our secrets really secret.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, you know, I think the social media thing really has to be pushed hard. To be honest with you, I think the other companies are doing a pretty good job on it, one better than the other. And I think it's just a matter of really pounding away on social media and also doing things that are going to bring in new customers. So in any event, we're off and running. So Flo, you haven't been in this industry for quite a few years. Certainly you haven't been with MHM in the last 10 years, is it?
More actually. I left.
When did you originally start with MHM? Because I worked with you in 2005 and 2007 at the Munich shows.
Well, actually, I came into this industry pretty much in 1997 when I founded my own embroidery shop in a little town here where I'm from in Rosenheim, south of Germany, south of Munich. So I started my own embroidery shop in 1997. I was using actually Tashima machines that time. Well, actually, one of the first ones in Germany because CSK is well known in Germany as an embroidery company. Right. But I thought to go different ways, so I started with Tashima. I had 2 6-heads Tashima. I had 3 that time Toyota 1-heads. Yeah. And that's how I came in this industry. In 2020, a very good friend of mine or of my family, his name was Herbert Meyerhofer. He was the founder of MHM.
Right.
came to me and said, "Hey, Flo, listen, you're a young guy. Your English is decent. I have a company in the US, an affiliate, production in Austria, not far away from here. Why don't you come and work with me?" I said, I was young enough. I was stupid enough. I said, why not? Yeah. So I started with MHM in 2000.
Okay.
Went
Well,
to my
certainly,
first
I remember Herbert quite well, obviously.
I went to my first show in February 2000. It was in Stuttgart, the first TVP show. I think you joined them also
Yep,
later on.
I did. I did that show probably a half a dozen times.
Yeah. First TVP show. And then 2 months later, the first Drupa show in Düsseldorf. And Drupa was known for printed paper. And even in 2000, MHM had vacuum machines, carousel machine with vacuum pallets and a vacuum system to print on paper. So we showed this machine at the Drupa show, and I think the Drupa show was 9 or 10 days. Ridiculous. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, the Groundhog Day. 11, 12 days on a trade show, yeah. Day in, day out, the same thing. Was pretty amazing. And then I moved for MHM to Spartanburg, South Carolina, to the affiliate in 2000, which I was until 2002. In 2002, MHM moved to Earl. We built our new facility, which is still there. Very amazing place. And then I took over international sales for MHM, started the entire business in the APAC region, Asian Pacific region. US, Latin, and South America. So what I did the next 8 years, actually, sitting in an airplane from the Munich airport, going either east or the west direction for at least 10 hours to the first stop. And that's what I did for 8 years. Setting up distributors, dealing internationally, which was quite interesting.
I'm sure. Well, I remember we met. I don't remember how we met originally. Probably at one of the ISS shows or something, or maybe SGIA show. But
well, I think it might be I'm pretty sure it was the SGIA show in New Orleans, probably 2001.
Okay, that would make sense. Well, I just remember in 2005 doing the FESPA show with you. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my doctor this morning, because I was in Austria, in Vienna, with my wife and daughter. And that's when I flew over to Munich for the day to meet with you and Herbert to put together the 2005 presentations.
Yeah.
And it was snowing like crazy where you were.
Yeah.
That I remember way too well.
Well, welcome to Austria. We're in the middle of the
exactly.
right?
Well, listen, you have to remember, I was born in Mittenwald, so I was born not too far from where you live.
Exactly.
In the middle of all the snow. So I was quite familiar with that part of it. But in any event, yeah, that's when I met with you. That's when I brought Dane and Lon Winters. I don't remember if it was 2005 or 2007, where I brought the two of them with me so that we could do the workshops at the facility.
Right. And you know, we had also the ink people there. My favorite ink always was Rutland. And
Yep.
this was the area when David Blake was with Rutland.
Yep.
So we had David there. We had Permenter. David Permenter there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, I think we set it up with about 6 different
Stations.
seminar areas.
Exactly.
And as people signed up, we assigned them a color or whatever. And so they would go to a particular area for about 45 minutes to an hour and then move over to the next one. And then at the end, eventually get onto the automatic and watch how the whole thing worked, which I thought that all came off very, very well.
It was, and especially that the FESPA was in Munich, which is 100 kilometers away. That's
right.
about for all our American guests about 75 miles.
Yeah,
It was pretty easy, you know, to
it
even shuttle
was.
customers and visitors from Munich to Austria during the show, because
Yep.
it was half a day, getting there, giving them the tour and bringing them back to the show. It was amazing setup.
Yeah, well, I was driving them back to the show. As a matter of fact, I think Dane and Lon almost lost it. You gave me a Volkswagen bus. I was doing 115 miles an hour in it, and I hit a pylon that blew off the mirror. I thought Dane was going to go through the roof of the whole thing and have a
You
heart
have been
attack
the
on
guy.
the spot. Huh?
You have been the guy who was charged on my endurance. Now you're telling me after 20 years.
Well, I mean, I know I had your car for a while, for a day or so, and I was doing 145. I got passed by a Ferrari like I wasn't moving,
Yep.
but that was a lot of fun. The Volkswagen bus at 115 was a lot more fun than the smaller cars, only because it was really moving along. But in any event, who knows?
The
Maybe
famous,
we'll
the
get a chance
famous
to do that
German,
again.
the famous German Autobahn, isn't it?
You know, it's always interesting driving through Europe, even when you're not on the Autobahn or you're like in Italy and stuff, nobody pays attention to the speed limit for the most part. Unfortunately, when I was in France and in Italy, I didn't pay attention. From France, all of a sudden, I got 4 speeding tickets sent to me at home,
Yeah.
which I took care of. In Italy, it took them over a year to send me the speeding tickets. I figured if it took over a year to find me, then it'll take another 10 years if I don't bother with you. So I still have those stacked up, but I
So,
forgot that they have the cameras out.
but even that's over now. You know, do this 3, 4 times and you're losing your license in Europe, and it's not worth it. Yeah. So they
I
regulate
agree.
us, wherever they can. Anyway. Yeah.
So, so what? Give me a rundown on what MHM's plans are for for this year coming up.
We have incredible projects coming. First of all, we want to come back. We want to come back. As you might know, MHM went through a tough time from 2010 until recently, with different owners and so on and so on. So finally, and which is important, I think, still, is that MHM is a personal owned company, more or less a family company. It's not a big corporation. Yeah, we don't have to care about the stock market and anything else. We can do what we are doing good. And when I say what we're doing good, MHM was always known as a very reliable machine, out of a company, with a heart. You know, people are working at MHM. They are still, we have about 65, 70 people, which is more than a decent company in Germany, in Austria, for example. We have been always the most reliable one. And of course, with Herbert in the past, he was a visionary. I mean, he started his company in 1982, and he really revolutionized the screen printing industry in that time. Of course, after Herbert passed away, there have been a kind of a hole, which we finally improved. We have really good engineers who are listening to customers, and the solid MHM DNA is still there with the company. It's a really nice company. We are very self-efficient. We have a huge CNC park, and we are doing 80-90% still in-house, which is not common in Europe anymore. So we have nine CNN machines, yeah, for
CNC machines, yeah.
CNC machines, yeah. We do all the welding in house. We do the painting in house. We do R&D in house, and this gives us still a big confidence. And I visited a customer in Germany. They're running 5 S types, a 5000, and an oval machine. And I looked at their production facility, and I looked at actually the very first machine. And this was one of the very first S types we sold in 2001. They have this machine still running, and there is no difference between a new S type and the old one in terms of productivity, and they're running 3 shifts in Germany right now. I
Wow.
never thought this. That's ridiculous. I mean, they're really running, or they're wearing the machines on their edge, and they're still running, and they're still good running, and they're doing their 400-500 pieces an hour on one machine, which was really amazing for me. And that's what I always say. There are so many machine companies who came and who left, who came and who left. Then we have, of course, in Asia, let's talk about some Chinese machines, or let's talk about some even Turkish machines.
Yeah.
If you want to make an investment, and if you want to invest in a long-term plan, then companies like MHM is, I would say, the only, and it's not only MHM who is there, but definitely MHM is one of the richest one, and one of the biggest quality ones on a long-lasting term. So that's something we want to bring back. Coming back to your question, that's what we want to publish as well, because I told you in the beginning, MHM was always known that they kept their secrets and their inventions for themselves. So the best hidden secrets are at MHM, and that's what we have to change.
Well, I remember when I worked with you in 2005 is where you introduced the 5,000, I believe, from the 4,000, but also
3,
that
4,000, yeah.
Huh?
3,000.
And then also either 2005 or 7 was the first little machine. I forgot what the name of it was.
The E-Type, correct.
The E-Type, yeah. And so, yeah, we actually never really got to print on it, because that was a prototype that was taken to the show. And so it was running, but without screens on it, just because it had just been finished up the day before, actually, or whatever it was, a couple of days before. I think you're absolutely right about MHM. Look, even with some of the companies I deal with, there's a couple of perceptions about MHM. Number one, that they're very expensive. And I said, it's really not. It all depends on which model and what features you're looking for. The perception is that if it comes from overseas, it has to be more expensive, which is not true. The other thing is, I still think the PIN registration system is the best registration system on the market, as long as it gets used properly. And I don't think there's enough emphasis put on the fact that you should be able to, if you set up your screens correctly, you should be able to just throw them onto the machine. It should be in register.
And I think that because you just mentioned it, the automatic screen registration system, and we saw this, and we displayed it even last year at the ISS in Long Beach with the screen changes. And literally, you're changing on an automatic screen registration system. You're changing your screens, and you have the adjustment on it and the registration within 5 to 10 minutes. And this is something, if you take this in consideration to your investment, first of all, the time you're saving is tremendous. And the funny thing is, Charlie, this screen automatic registration system, which was patented by Herbert Meyerhofer, is on the MHM machines. Guess since when?
Well, I think I lost. There you go.
Guess since this screen automatic registration is on the MHM equipment. What year? What do you guess? What do you think?
I remember when I took Lon to the show, and he set up the Einstein job by himself on the 5,000. And I think that was what, a 12 or 13 color job. And I think it took him 20 minutes to set it up without anybody helping him. And that's because the screens were shot correctly. The thing about the 5,000, I think it's the only machine that you can actually micro while it's still printing, because of the digital micro, or the touch pads in order to micro it.
And job changes, as you said, that's the time you're saving. And if you if you're in your print shop and you want to optimize your production, yeah, I mean, face it, you know, all machines, all automatic machines have more or less the same speed, yeah.
Yeah,
It all depends on the operator. The machines are way faster than any operator can load from any single brand, yeah. But where can you
correct.
optimize your floor? Where? Yeah, in setting up, you know, and in your pre-setup, in your pre-press, yeah. That's where you
Yep.
can optimize the output of your floor. And if you have a machine which you're able to auto reg and to change 10, 12, 14, 15 color jobs within 15 to 20 minutes, that's a huge saving for you.
I agree. Listen, to
But that's
me, the speed
that's
of
something
machine. Go ahead. I'm
that
sorry.
that's something we have to advertise, yeah. And that's one of the hidden secrets, yeah. And on the MHM machine, believe it or not, this automatic screen registration is since 1996. Can you believe this?
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's still the best. It's the best and the fastest registration in the market, but no one knows it.
I agree. When I do my work, I know the speed that you operate the machine on has no big impact on your daily production. The biggest impact is downtime. How long does it take to set up the machine? How long does it take to break it down so that you can, and how long does it take if you do have to register? And that's the thing about most of the MHMs. The head goes up so you can look straight down to see what you're doing.
Yep.
Big difference. And
I
and
mean,
to me, that's where the money is made. It's not made in the speed of the machine. It's made in the setup, breakdown, and the registration time.
yeah, and at the MHM, again, due to Herbert's innovations, we have about 5 to 10 different really smart things to optimize this.
Yeah,
That's what we need to show, and that's why again we're back and running. MHM, as I told you in the beginning, is a public. It's not a public owned company. It's a private owned company.
right.
Changes has been made. There have been some mistakes made in the last couple of years. But the new owner, you know, he established a new CEO at the beginning of the year, who is doing a tremendous job internally and also in terms of cash flow and what's in a CEO job belongs to. Myself, I came back in. We have most of our distributors who are loyal since decades to MHM because they know what they have on the product. And they know that they are not running into any trouble when they are selling an MHM equipment because it's reliable.
Yeah. So moving away from that, you did work with Aon for a while. How long did you work for Aon?
Well, I started with Aon at the beginning of 2019, so I was 3 years, more than 3 years with Aon.
Okay.
And the relationship with Aon, I don't know if you know this. When I started in 2000 at MHM, there was another gentleman starting in 2000. His name was Angelo Schistel. And Angelo started in the R&D department with Herbert, and I started in the sales department. So we were working for 10 years, very close to each other. And Angelo was actually Herbert's first man. Let's take it like this. And he learned pretty much everything from Herbert. And in 2010, I moved to Rutland Inc. in Pineville for 5 years. And in 2010, Angelo founded his own company because he moved out the digital project from MHM into his own company. And he named his company Aon. So that's how Angelo started. And again, he built a very, very good company in the digital field. I would say the only one who is facing Kornit worldwide is Aon. The machines are, again, made in Austria, very close to the MHM facility. Angelo has the MHM DNA anyway in his mind, and that's how he built his machines and how he set up his company. So in 2019, we saw each other again. He said, "Hey, Flo, how about Eon?" I said, I took a look on it and I said, "Wow, these machines are finally amazing." And then we joined forces. And I was with Angelo, which I really loved because I love the product as well, for more than 3 years. And then after, well, Charlie, you know this, after more than 20 years in the industry, I finally decided to let it be. Yeah. So that's enough traveling. Let's concentrate on your hobbies. One of my hobbies is wine, for example, like you. So I started my own wine business, which I still have. I have a partner in a vineyard in France, which he owns, which I am part of it. So this is my hobby. And when Ulrich Loser, the owner from MHM, called after the ITMA show, actually this year in June, and he said, "Flo, can we talk?" I said, "There is absolutely no chance." He said, "Okay, let's talk." So we talked, due to the fact that he made some really, really good changes at MHM, especially with the new CEO who joined. I said, "Okay, why not? I think my experience can help MHM." And actually, the main reason why I did it was the legacy of Herbert. And I told you, he was not only a very close friend of mine, he was my mentor. And he made it happen for me to travel the world, to meet all people, to get into this industry. And when he passed away a couple of years ago, it was a big, big hole. And having the chance, let's say, I don't want to say at the end of my days, but at the middle of my age, to can give something back to his legacy. This was the main reason why I said, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's bring my expertise in, and let's see if I can get a nice asset to this company.
So talk to me a little bit about wine, because I also have a decent collection right now. Probably nothing like yours, but I have about 350 bottles of red wine in my refrigerators, some of which are really, really expensive. Not that I paid that much for them, but wines have always gone up in price, which is kind of crazy. And you're bringing in wines from Germany, but also from Italy.
Well, first of all, when we are talking about different mentalities, different drinking techniques, and different tastes, what I never understood is for the US, that you guys are totally on red wine, or most of them. I mean,
not totally, but
yeah, but the reputation on white wine is more a female thing, and the red wine is more the male thing.
no,
Yeah.
actually, for the longest time, it was if you were eating light meat or fish, you would drink white wines, and if it was red meat, and also just casually getting together with friends, generally it was red wines.
Yep. In Europe, I would say it's 60-70% white wines and maximum 30% red wines we're drinking. Usually the red wines are more for winter times, when it's cold outside, than a red wine. Yeah. And of course, always combines with food. Yeah. But the thing is, there are so many great white wines, especially heavy ones, oak barreled white wines, who fits excellent to the best steak you've ever had. Yeah. And everything where you usually drink a red wine, yeah, a white wine is even more tasty, yeah, and has more flavor to it, like the red wine.
Well, you know what? When we go to Long Beach, you'll bring along your wines. I'll throw 3 or 4 bottles into my crate, and we can drink a lot of wine. Some red, some white.
And
Not a problem.
I give you one more advice too. Usually what we all do on the red wines, we are drinking it way too warm.
Now, I keep my red wines at about 55 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's how many Celsius? Come on.
So let's see, 30 degrees Celsius. So you cut it in half, so it's 26.
Okay. I give you one advice. If you have, what's your favorite grape, red wine grape?
I love my Burgundy, so I'm a Pinot drinker.
Yeah, a Pinot Noir.
Yes.
Okay, I give you an advice. Take your Pinot Noir, take 2 bottles, yeah, the one you love. Put one in the fridge for about 13 degrees Celsius, yeah, and the other one you drink as you usually drink it, yeah. Same
No, I
wine,
drink I drink
temperature.
mine cold. I keep my refrigerator at 13 degrees.
Good, good.
That's the way.
That was my
That's the
advice.
way.
Usually everyone is drinking it way too warm, yeah.
No. I don't drink it warm. I keep if you look, I have 3 refrigerators. All of them are set to 13 degrees Celsius.
Good. Excellent. That was my advice. Yeah. And when you drink a red wine with 13 degrees Celsius, you can also drink a white wine because 13 degrees is for a white wine as well. Good.
I agree. The biggest problem we're going to have in Long Beach is trying to get the wine cold enough so that we can take it to the restaurant. Maybe drinking it on the warmer, drink it on the warmer side.
I bring the wine which are good for drinking in warm.
I'll bring a bunch of wine as well, and we can certainly enjoy whatever we bring. So that'll be good. So when do you start going to travel again?
Basically, I already did. I officially started with MHM on November 4th, November 1st.
Right.
But I was already at the Printing United in Atlanta.
Right.
Because I said, if there is a show like this, even if it's a couple of weeks before I start, due to the fact that I was out of the screen printing industry in particular for 13, 14 years, I wanted to see what the market looks like. I wanted to see what it is. So I started already. My next trip will be actually going east. We'll go to China, to Vietnam, seeing some customers, seeing some distributors. And especially for China, I'm very interested at, because in China, my last time in China was more than 10 years ago. And as you all know how China is moving the last couple of years, I'm really looking forward to, because I'm sure I will not realize or recognize what's going on there. So I'm pretty excited going to Shanghai again, and then to Vietnam. And Vietnam is anyway, it's moving. It's so moving. It's a really positive energy. A lot of young people, young companies. Very exciting.
Yeah. I love going to Shanghai. That's always been one of my favorite places. City itself is just very exciting. So that'll take you through the rest of this year. Then January you come to Long Beach. You're not going to what shows are in Germany? You have PSI, which I don't think you're doing anything there.
No.
I don't know if they have TVP this year or next year.
No, it's in 2025 again in Germany. But there is, of course, right after the ISS is the Colombia Tex in Medellin, Colombia.
Okay. Well, I think TVP, is still the best screen print show in Europe. I think they've done a wonderful job over the years of really having screen print as a main feature, as opposed to where things are with some of the other shows where screen print has lost a little bit of its shine.
I agree. Question, Charlie. We have been together, I think, twice in Lyon for this French show. Is this still on?
CTCO, yes. It's in France. I haven't been doing it for quite a few years, but yes, it's usually in February in Lyon, and then they do it again in Madrid, somewhere around May. So they've been doing the Madrid show probably for about 5 or 6 years now. The bad thing with COVID is you lose track of time.
Especially for the years.
Guillaume, who started that show, did sell it. I think he's still involved, but I don't believe he is the owner anymore. I don't know who the owner is, but yeah, that show has grown tremendously. Um, Not sure. I know they have a good screen print division there or section. The one in Spain, I work with one of the distributors from Spain. It's a couple of brothers that have a shop or distribution. But yeah, certainly Spain is always a wonderful place to try and get things going. I personally, I always wish that the show was more in Barcelona than it is in Madrid, but whatever.
Yeah.
We all have our preferences.
And there is one more really important show, and also a very nice show, which is every other year, which is in Blumenau this year.
Where?
In Blumenau, Brazil, the Febratex.
I don't know anything about that show.
Beautiful. First of all, it's on the venue. You know, of course, you know the Oktoberfest we have in Munich, right?
Uh-huh.
And there is the biggest, the second biggest Oktoberfest in the world, which is in South Brazil in Blumenau. And
okay.
And the Febratex is every year in the venue of the Oktoberfest in Blumenau. So it
really
feels really Bavarian down there.
Sounds interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, we seem to have mostly people who are associated with you on. I saw Ralph was on for a little while and jumped off. Not sure where we go from here. I mean, I think we're doing okay, but I have a feeling more people are going to be watching the video than coming on to this, which is okay. It'll be on my website in a couple of days. From my end of things, I'm certainly looking forward to doing some more work with you guys, especially with you. We haven't done anything in a long time. Dane is still doing my artwork for me, and he's now dealing heavily with all the AI stuff. I guess one of the questions that I have for you, I know at one time MHM put a direct to garment unit onto their machine. Does MHM have one now, or are they using somebody else's?
Well, actually, we are in the progress to come up with something totally different and totally new in the digital field. We will for sure introduce this brand new piece of equipment at the FESPA show in Amsterdam this year. It's in the beginning of the year. I think it's in March. Yes.
Yeah. Why are they doing it in March? I don't understand that.
Yeah, me neither.
The unfortunate thing is I've already made a commitment and it sits on the same dates as FESPA. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I agree.
March in Amsterdam. What happened to all the May and June shows?
Yeah, and even Printing United next year, they moved it down to September.
Yeah, but they've always been September, October, for a while.
September, because September is the Oktoberfest in Munich, yeah? So it's the worst time to travel for me.
You'll have to bring your beer with you, I guess. Well, the thing about Vegas is it's because Vegas has so many shows, you almost get pushed into a particular date. I don't understand why FESPA is in March. It's cold. It's just not a wonderful time of the year. I don't think it is anyway, but what do I know? I don't make the shows, I just attend them.
Well, but, Amsterdam is the Las Vegas of Europe.
I mean, I like going to Amsterdam. The problem is March, really? Why? Anyway, not for us to decide. All I know is I made a commitment to do a show in the States, and it comes out on the same dates. I can't believe it. Ridiculous. But we'll see what happens. In any event.
It's Atlantic City, right? In
Huh?
the US, it's the Atlantic City show, the ISS Atlantic City, right on the same date.
You know what? Let me pull it up. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I think Atlantic City 21st to the 23rd of March, and FESPA is from the 19th until the 22nd.
Yeah, Atlantic City. I actually am there from the 19th until the 23rd. And what are the dates for FESPA?
19th till the 22nd.
So how stupid is that? Because there were exhibitors at the Atlantic City show that would have potentially gone to FESPA that are probably not going to go. And
Welcome to the globalization.
I'm sure FESPA thinks that their show is more important, and so people will go to that. It may be more important for the Europeans, but it's not going to do anything for the Americans. And there's still a decent amount of American companies that do exhibit at FESPA. I worked FESPA last year with Vastex, and they're not going to do FESPA because it's just on top of Atlantic City. Doesn't make
Yep, but
sense
that's
to me.
but you see, that's the problems we're having as manufacturer. What you gonna do? I mean, I have here for next year 2, 4, 6, 22 shows internationally. Small
Right.
ones, big ones. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
no one can afford this. Yeah. You have to see exactly where you spend your money and where your target market is.
I totally agree with you. You know, you're not going to do 22 shows because that's absurd. But you do have to take that handful at the top that are capable of drawing the people that you want and exhibit in those shows.
And the region too, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
these
Yeah. I
22
mean,
shows all over the world.
uh, I think you have to look at who your distributors are or where you need distributors and work your way through the shows that way. The last show I did before COVID was actually the show in Egypt. And I did that with Islam. And
Yep.
thought it was a good show. Definitely had a good response. Lots of screen print there. And then, of course, COVID hit, and that took care of that. But Thomas was there at the show, working with us. Uh, it was interesting to be there. I think it's still a decent market. I think Egypt certainly, or Islam certainly goes to a lot of different countries based on where he is. And so I thought that was quite good. I assume he's still working with you.
Absolutely.
He's great to work with, I think.
Agree, totally agree. I mean, we have, you know, most of the distributors we have are still there, loyal customers. As I said before, you know, they know what they have on MHM. They know that they can sell the equipment, and the equipment fulfill what they say, and that's a major thing.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is we'll see how you fare when you go to Vietnam and China. I don't know who your distributors are there, but who are you working with in Vietnam and China?
Still old and good customer or distributors. Not only Vietnam, so Thailand as well.
Yeah,
Indonesia, a huge market. Believe it or not, Australia. Yeah, we used to have a competitor in Australia, which was TAS, which are more or less not on the picture anymore.
they do exist, but nobody knows them. Even in
Yeah.
the US, nobody knows that they have an office still. I haven't seen them exhibit at a show. I can't even tell you how many years it's been since the last time I saw somebody exhibit a toss machine.
South Korea, Japan, Thailand. Yeah, that's all countries, you know, where there is quite a big screen printing.
I agree. No, I
Uh,
totally agree with you. I was in Thailand for the FESPA show when, of course, they had the outbreak of the red shirts versus the yellow shirts. So they had to, the show itself. You were at the show, weren't you, or not?
I was. It took me 4 days getting out of Thailand, coming back home to Europe.
Yeah,
4 days. we flew out of a military airport base in
So did
Utah,
I.
very south. Crazy.
Yeah, no, I went out through the military and I had my wife and daughter with me.
I remember. I
Oh,
remember.
it was a zoo. You know, it was amazing. When we went, let's see, they put me on a charter flight to uh, Singapore. So we got into Singapore at about 11 o'clock at night. And Susie said, my wife says, we're going to starve, man. There's no place to get food. So we get to the hotel, which was the Holiday Inn, which was actually fantastic, in the middle of the Chinese area. Every restaurant was open. So we had some of the best Chinese food ever. Left early the next day and went to Taiwan. And while in Taiwan, I ordered one of those bowl lunches and it had oysters in it. Unfortunately, well, Amy spit out her oysters. I didn't. And I got food poisoning. So the flight from Taiwan to San Francisco, I didn't move a muscle. I was dying on the plane. I thought I was going to die sitting there. Uh, Finally got to San Francisco, seemed to do better. Finally got back to Denver, but it was, you know, it was an unfortunate show. That's what I remember. I was working Charlie's Corner. Your area was straight in front of me.
We played soccer in the aisle because there were not even one visitor.
No, there was nothing. You know, I actually left that Sunday. The show started on Saturday, and that's when they came to me and said, if you want to get out, we can get you out tomorrow. Pick you up at 7 in the morning. Great. They picked us up at 7. We didn't get to the military base until 4:30 in the afternoon. And then we just sat around waiting for the charter plane. But I do agree. I have someone that I'm friendly with, an artist that actually is living in Taiwan, in Thailand right now. Really wonderful artist, and he's been going back and forth from the U.S. and Thailand for, I don't know, a number of years now. But yeah, I haven't been back there since that wonderful uprising.
Yeah, I
Took
have
you,
also a very, very nice. I do remember this. Trucking down to Utah, then we took a 747 for a 30-minute flight to Kuala Lumpur. Then we had a night over in KL. Then we flew to Singapore. Then all the flights were overbooked for 3 days to Europe, entirely one. We finally got one to London Heathrow. And now listen to this. Singapore Airlines, Singapore, London, Heathrow nonstop. And it was the very, very first flight of their brand new A380.
how nice.
This was the very first airline they delivered to Singapore Airlines, and we took this flight from Singapore to London Heathrow. So
Wow.
actually, I pulled up off the cover of the screen on the seat because it was a brand new airplane.
That's funny. Now they put us on China Airlines. You know, when you're in business class, it's fantastic. When you're not in business class, they are some of the worst. So to get from Singapore to Taiwan, it was fantastic. You know, they couldn't do enough from Taiwan to the US. It was a horror show. Oh well, the joys of flying, you know, a lot of what
Exactly.
happens. Anyway, I think we're probably going to call it quits, Flo. What do you think? So I'll be in touch with you. I'm going to send you the artwork that Dane put together. This way you get an idea of what we're going to do. It's all going to be special effects. So we're using high density. We're using some gels. We're using some.
Glow in the
I was going
dark.
to use, huh?
Glow in the dark.
Don't have that one going because it's going to be so light in the room. It's not even worth doing that one. But every one of those designs has special effects in it. And so should be quite interesting. As a matter of fact, the dragon design is supposed to have had blister base. They no longer make it. So they're sending me stuff called cork base, which I haven't played with. But for my manual, I have the same design without the special effect. On the automatic, it'll be on with the special effect so people can see what kind of difference there is.
Good.
So,
Looking forward to. Will be. I'm really looking forward. First of
so
all, I love the show. I love the venue. I love the people. And the first show in the year is always, I would say, one of the best ones because you have
it's
an
definitely the
indication
best
of
show.
what's going on. Yeah.
So on the show floor, you're going to have a machine also, or is it just the one that I'm going to have in my room?
No, we definitely have a show, a machine at the show floor. We have one in your room. You will see MHM is back.
Sounds great. Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help out, and I'd be happy to do that.
Really appreciate all your support from since more than 20 years, Charlie. And yeah, thank you for that. And
Well, looking forward
more
to
important,
doing.
more important, thank you for your friendship. Also,
Well,
since
friendship has always been there. And say hello to your wife for me. I hope she's doing well, and we'll chat. Let me know how things go in China and Vietnam. I'm always interested.
absolutely, my friend.
Terrific. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you very much. Thanks
Cheers.
for having me. Bye bye.